Now, as the war in West Asia intensifies further, US President Donald Trump has declared victory, saying that Tehran is on the brink of defeat, but warning that it doesn't mean US is going to end the war immediately. Trump said that the United States will remain engaged in the Iran conflict to finish the job, citing major military gains, including the destruction of dozens of Iranian naval vessels. However, this comes hours after Trump suggested that the war could soon be over because Washington had run out of targets. Speaking to reporters in Washington, Trump warned that it will be almost impossible to rebuild the country should US choose to escalate strikes and hit sections of Tehran.
Want to leave early, do we? We got to finish the job, right? Over the past 11 days, our military has virtually destroyed Iran. Tough country. Their air force is gone, totally gone. That took the better part of about 3 hours.
Further, the US president said that the US is going to look very strongly at the Straits. Earlier in the week, Trump has hinted at the possibility of taking over the strategic Strait of Hormuz, which is a key global oil choke point carrying a fifth of the world's oil.
We're going to be in very good shape. You see what's happening. They are pretty much at the end of the line. Doesn't mean we're going to end it immediately, but they are. They've got no Navy. They've got no Air Force. They've got no anti-air traffic, anything. They have no systems of control. We're just riding free range over that country. And now we're going to look very strongly at the Straits. The Straits are in great shape.
Meanwhile, as oil prices are continually disrupted, the United States Department of Energy said it will release 172 million barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve beginning next week. The release would take approximately 120 days to deliver based on planned discharge rates. The agency also accused Iran of manipulating and threatening the energy security of America and its allies. Iran, too, on its part, issued a series of warnings by threatening to wage a prolonged war with the United States and Israel that would destroy the world economy. The statement comes as fighting near the Strait of Hormuz rattles energy markets and prompts emergency reserve releases. Oil prices have surged since February 28, when US and Israel launched airstrikes on Iran, killing its supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and even plunging the West Asia region into conflict. We earlier caught up with Jennifer Parker. She's adjunct professor, Defense and Security Institute at the University of Western Australia. Here's what she said on the evolving situation in West Asia.
Look, the US certainly has the firepower to choose to do that, but I think that is unlikely. I think where we are is still in a phase of the conflict where the US is trying to take out Iran's ballistic missile capability and its drone-making capability, the latter being more challenging. It's not unexpected, I think, that Iran has broadened this conflict to be targeting the economic capabilities, particularly the oil facilities across the region. That would be largely expected. I wouldn't read anything into those comments that we're about to see an end to this conflict anytime soon. I think the US has been very clear that they have 4 key military objectives: destruction of Iran's ballistic missile capabilities, their nuclear capabilities, their proxies, and their Navy. Nuclear capabilities and proxies will be the most challenging. I think the US are going to continue to work through the target set for those. So I don't see this wrapping up anytime soon, but I don't see the US switching gears to go to other targets that would target broader infrastructure of Iran. That would not be in their interest at this point. Well, look, Iran certainly has an impressive military capability, and it shouldn't be underestimated. The US are clearly working through targeting Iran's ballistic missile sites, the ballistic missiles, which of course are being fired across Gulf states and having a significant impact. The US will likely be able to, with time, take out a lot of that capability. The second issue, though, is really Iran's drone-making capability. Iran is world-leading in many ways when it comes to attack uncrewed aerial vehicles. We saw Iran in the last couple of years exporting this capability to Russia. It is one of the reasons Russia has been effective in taking out some of the Ukraine's energy facilities. These are much harder to deal with because they can be built almost anywhere. They're quite small. They can be launched from the back of trucks. That is a problem that the US are going to have to deal with in order to reduce the attacks on Gulf states and reduce the impact on the global economy. But to this point, the determination of when the war ends is not necessarily up to Israel or the US. Iran very much has a say in this. That said, if the US get to the point where they have reduced their bombing campaign on Iran, it would not be in Iran's interest to continue attacking their neighbours in the Gulf states or impacting the global economy, because as it does this, it's also impacting its economy. It is reliant on the Strait of Hormuz, for example, to get its oil out from Kharg Island.